Hello, hello, hello. I don't know if we're quite live yet, but I always know the replay has us live almost immediately. So super excited about being here. If you are live with us, we want to know you're here. So go ahead and start chatting. What we would love to know is, where are you watching from? We're going to be talking about something really, really fun. I have one of my favorite people here who is absolutely changing and rearranging the way I think about camping. And I'll share with you the way I used to think. And then, of course, I'm going to have Christine share some really cool things. And you're going to find out, if you followed me very long, why Christine speaks my language, but she speaks my language. Yay, Stacy, I'm glad you're here. DFW, woohoo, yay.
Nice.
Yes. So if you are on, make sure you let me know that you're on, because it doesn't show me the number of people live, just because we're coming from Zoom into Facebook, and I know there's a little bit of a delay. If you have friends that love camping, should love camping, want to know how to diva camp, you need to jump on. And I am with my friend Christine. She is RV Mama of 4, and you can find her everywhere on the social medias, and some more things. We'll tell you all the different ways that you're going to be able to find her. But if you are on with us, let us know you're here. I am watching the chat, but do realize it is.
Hi, Francine. This is Judy.
Ooh, hang on.
And Francine, can you tell people, if they're on your Facebook group, how they find the live? Is it at the top, do you know, or where it's at? We have some questions.
Yes,
Okay.
It should be right up at the top.
Okay, I'm so grateful to be here, and I love talking with you. You're my favorite people to just share stories and talk kids and entrepreneurship and all the things.
All the things. Sherry Collins just said hi. Sherry, where are you watching from, my friend? We would love to know. And we're just giving everybody just a few minutes to catch us, find us. I know a lot of people are wanting to join us, so I don't want to jump into the fun part of this conversation too early without letting you hop in here.
And Francine has her beautiful background behind her, and it's real. When she first logged in, I thought that it was the screen. I'm coming from Denver, and it looks way sunnier and warmer where Francine's at. I'm very jealous. I still consider myself a Texan. When people ask where I'm from, I say Houston, and then I'm like, oh wait, but I've been in Denver 4 years. They're like, wait, you call yourself a Texan and you've been in Denver 4 years? I'm like, I know, but I love the weather. I love the people. I love everything about it. So I'm like a dual citizen here, as Texas and Colorado.
Yes. It's so me and the kids, so I actually live in Dallas, Fort Worth, but the kids and I are in Austin. This is downtown Austin, and I'm trying to remember the name. They call it the Colorado River. Is that correct?
Yeah, isn't that so weird? It crosses like many states, and then when we have a drought, they'll always say that Colorado cuts off access to other states to the Colorado River, but it runs through all these other states. It's very bizarre.
Wild. Yeah. And anyway, so we haven't really, I've been to Austin before, but this is our first time really kind of doing the museums and the kind of the fun things. So we just started, we came in late last night. So this is the Colorado River behind us, and Congress Bridge, I think is what that's called. Bridge or whatever. So.
And Francine and I were just talking about the bats. So if you guys have never done this, whether you have kids or not, so we did it with our Boy Scout troop when we lived in Houston. We went up to Austin, and everybody just comes and they all know where to sit. There's a certain spot under this bridge, and you literally just put your chairs out with the other 100 people doing it. And the bats will come out like clockwork within half an hour of the exact same time every day, in the masses, in the hundreds. And it is the most bizarre thing to see hundreds of bats that are just, you don't even see them. And then all of a sudden they all come out and leave at the same time every day. It's just so God's handiwork.
Yes. Yeah. And they said the sound is something to hear. Like, it is an experience. So Shelby's on here. Sherry's on here. Hey, you guys.
Hi.
We're here.
I know Tammy's trying to get in. I'm not sure if she's in yet, but hopefully she can.
Okay. Tammy, if you're in here, let us know you're here. Super excited. Okay, so I've got to do a little bit of an introduction. So I met Christine through a program that we're both a part of that have helped us build memberships in our entrepreneurial work and what we do. And when she first started talking, she was talking about RVing. And I will tell you that my husband, Wade, before he went to heaven, said several times that he would love to live in an RV. As a matter of fact, I didn't tell you this yet, but when he was in his 20s, he took an RV, parked it next to this beautiful lake, and that's where he actually did all of his evangelism out of. He lived right there. He said it was awesome. He fished every morning, and he's in his 20s, and it was just a really awesome time for him. And I think that's why he kept saying, hey, at the time we had 2 dogs and 3 young kids, and I was like, I couldn't even imagine. And honestly, the joke with me was always, I think roughing it is when I stay in a Marriott and they forget to put the blow dryer in the Marriott hotel. So it is, yay, Melissa, yay. So anyway,
That's hilarious, Francine.
so when Christine would talk, I'd be like, oh yeah, RVing. But the more she talked, the more seriously I'm thinking I might be driving an RV one day. So just be aware. We're going to go ahead and put a warning on here that if you sit here and listen to Christine, you might just have this desire, because even a diva like me is beginning to consider that I might be able to drive an RV. I might be able to pull it up to some of the most beautiful places in the world and begin to create. And this is where, if you follow me, you know why this is big for me, began to create a legacy with my kids, a time, experiences, which is one of my favorite things. So, Christine, tell us just a little bit about, let's go back. Why did you start RVing? Why was this important to you? And then I want to go into some stories of some places that you've been and the experiences that you had.
Sure. So I started 8 years ago RVing because my kids are involved in a lot of sports, and they used to go to Christian school. And then one day I decided that I literally didn't get to spend any time with them. I wasn't working and they were going to school and I was doing their homework, and I'd already been through 3rd grade. And so I thought, this is crazy. And so I will never forget the day that it was right after Christmas, on Christmas break, that I told my husband, why don't we start homeschooling? And we had always thought it was weird before that, honestly. Like, we're like, this is like, who does that,
Right.
But we had friend after friend, close friends, that were leaving Christian school, not because the school, like, we loved the school, everything about it, but because they wanted to create legacy memories and have that time with their kids and really have an active role in their education and what they were learning. And so I thought, okay, well, I'd like my friends. They're not that crazy. So that's when we had decided that we were going to really jump in and start homeschooling. Well, I'll never forget the day. It was 8 years ago, and my sister called me. She has 5 kids, and she said, we just bought an RV. And, you have a little bit of competitiveness with your sisters and siblings. And,
I love that.
And I was like, wait, why'd you buy an RV? And she said, well, we really want to go and do our activities with our kids. They do a lot of dirt biking. We don't like sitting there all day in the dusty dirt biking track. And we want to go hang out in the RV and listen to music and, have grilled barbecue while we're in between races. And I thought, I want to do that too. My family had grown up camping, only in a tent though. We'd never had an RV. We just thought a tent was normal and that's what everybody did. And I remember camping probably once a month for my entire childhood. Did we actually do that? I don't know. I need my mom on here to tell me. But that's my memory of how often that we went camping. It's the biggest thing I remember. I remember always sleeping up against the tent and having, the wet spot because it would rain and come into my sleeping bag. And so I thought, wow, this is the generational change. We could give our kids an RV. We had so much fun tenting. And so I asked my sister, I said, well, how much is it? And she said, we're literally only paying $150 a month. And I thought, $150 a month is dinner out in Texas for a family of 6. I thought, we can do that. We can give up Chili's once a month and have an RV at our disposal. And so I ended up talking my husband into it. And he's like how you describe you are. He's definitely more of a hotel. He did not grow up camping, and he just prefers a lot of pillows and a nice mattress. And he doesn't like to spill on his clothes. I mean, like, I literally will spill coffee within 5 minutes of waking up. I'm like, oops, there goes another outfit. Oh, well, the kids just know. They just say, don't spill on them now. That's what they say. They know I'm going to spill on me all day long. They're like, just don't spill on me, Mom. So anyway, it was that call that really changed our trajectory, because as soon as my husband gave me the go ahead, I went and decided to go get an RV that weekend. So I went shopping and really just went all in and decided that we were going to go to my daughter's dance competitions. That was our big sport back then, that we had to travel. And so I found what we lovingly call Breakdown Betsy. That's what we name our first trailer, because either Breakdown Betsy was breaking down all the time, or I broke everything on it to learn how to RV. And that's really what birthed my RV Mama of 4 membership that we'll talk about later, is that it took me years to kind of learn how to do everything, because they don't teach you that. And it's not something you can just go in and research just all, exactly what to do and what can go wrong and what can go right. So we ended up trying everything. And that first year, I'll never forget. Well, let me back up. As soon as we got Breakdown Betsy, they give you a 1-hour little tour and they say, okay, this is what you got to do. This is everything you need to know. Yeah, everything you need to know. So I pull out of the parking lot and the brakes don't stop like a normal car. Breakdown Betsy was 32 feet and I had attached to a SUV. I didn't have a truck. And I'm like, it won't stop. So I made it through this first stop sign screaming like a maniac. And I told my husband, you take it. I'm not doing this. And so he took over. He'd never driven an RV either, but he was braver than me. And so for that first year, he drove us every month. We went camping in Livingston, Texas. We would go up to the 1,000 Trails in Lake Livingston. And I took the kids every month, year round. And he would drive up on a Friday afternoon after work, drive the trailer, set up the sewer, the water, the electric, and turn around and drive home. Because he worked a lot and he didn't like camping. And so between those two things, he would always say, I have to work. And he'd turn around and go home. And after the first year, I felt so guilty. I was like, this is not fair to him. While we're sitting around doing the activities, swimming, sitting around the campfire, and he goes home. And I thought, I need to put on my big girl panties and learn how to do this myself. That's what I said to myself. And so for Mother's Day that year, I'll never forget, he made me the best gift I've ever got, other than the year where he cleaned my whole house. He made me a laminated checklist that was how to hook up your RV, how to unhook up your RV, how to set up camp, and how to unset up your camp. And it was like dual-sided, laminated, and it was the best gift I've ever had. I kept that in my RV for 5 years until the rain ruined it. And I would just follow it. And that summer, I said, I'm going to go do this myself. One, because we keep going to the same campground, because I couldn't expect him to go much farther than an hour. I said, I want to leave the state. I want to go to Amanda's dance scholarships. They were in Nevada, California, Utah, all over. And so I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the kids the whole summer and we're just going to vacation in between all of her scholarships. And Francine, boy, did I learn a lot of lessons that summer about how to RV. We ended up, everything that could go wrong went wrong. And my kids could write a novel about that summer. But I tell you not, if you ask them what their best memories are, they will tell you camel safari, because my truck that was supposedly good enough to pull the RV ended up dying in Utah. Utah is not like Texas. Texas is flat. So if you're buying in Texas, make sure you tell them you might be traveling outside of Texas where there's hills and mountains and, things like that. So I was driving up the mountains in Utah, 103 degrees. It's just the kids and I and the dog. And my truck, brand new, starts flashing power failure, power failure. So I start screaming because I don't handle stress very well. And I said, kids, you're going to see Jesus. We're going to die. Never stay calm. The kids would stay calm. So we're all yelling, oh, so we freak out. But you know what? Just ahead of us was a sign for a pullover to see some fabulous sight. So we pull over. Nobody wanted to see the sight. We were all just freaking out about power failure. But, God took care of us. I say that we have camping angels, and I truly believe we have camping angels that travel in that truck and trailer with us, because we had these 20 somethings that allowed us to follow them for almost 3 hours. And I went like 50 miles an hour. I was going so slow, and we followed them and they helped us. The guy worked on cars and he just said, you need to just let it cool down. You need to let it cool down. I'll sit here with you for the hour. You can follow us. So we did that. Woke up the next morning. Same thing happened. Power failure, because it was hot again. It was like 103 degrees by 9 a.m. And so we pull off, and the only thing on that exit, was Camel Safari. And my daughter's calling the Camel Safari. This is like August. They answer the phone and they said, we don't open till October. And my daughter said, you have to help us. Our truck is overheated. And They came and they picked us up. They said, we're going to turn your day around. They said, you watch for us. We'll come find you. They picked us up, the kids and I told the kids, don't do what I do, just what I say. We're getting in the car with some camel safari strangers. And I told my mom where we were, if anything were to go wrong. And they showed the kids the camel safari. They got to feed them. They kept us in their house. And so I learned all of this to tell you that it's not normally like that. I don't want to scare all your viewers away. It's not normally like that, I promise. But I know the tips and the tricks and what to watch for and how to prepare you so that if your truck is big enough to pull your tow vehicle. I ended up buying a new truck in Vegas. It was not in the camping budget. I called my husband. I was like, I need $60,000. And I ended up having to negotiate and buy my own truck. They paid for us to stay an extra 2 weeks because I just worked that into the deal. So they paid for our campground and we lived it up while they waited for my husband to FedEx the papers back and forth because I didn't work. So I didn't have any income. And between God and our camping angels and a passion to make memories with my kids, I learned so many things. And now it runs very smooth. We go on trips. I don't freak out. I know what my tow vehicle can pull. I know so many tips and tricks that I can share with other people to make your journey easy, because
that's what I love. Yeah. In this story, there are two things that I just love, and this is what I get from you every time I hear you. Number one is that you're getting to be a part of your children's life in a really powerful way. And it's actually, I almost wonder if you didn't have this lifestyle of choosing to homeschool, of choosing to RV and all of that, would they have been able to do all the things, right? And I do want you to kind of talk about some of the accomplishments that your kids, I know one of them had a pretty big accomplishment just happened recently because of something you've done through the RVing. But I think that was the other thing, is knowing that I would have RV mama of 4 to call and say, what, I know the guy is saying that my truck is fine, or I know that, I mean, I can't even imagine all the little things that you kind of have to know. And I would rather learn from someone who already did all of it, right? And have someone a guide to come alongside me, which is so huge. So if you're listening right now, you probably already heard why I resonate with Christine. I homeschooled my kids. They were in and out of public school, some as the Lord led, because that's pretty much what we did every year. Lord, what would you have us to do? And there were times when God said, put them in school, and they were, just amazing representations of Christ in school, as well as the freedom that we were able to do so that we could travel and do ministry and do the things that we did. So that's going to be something that resonates with me. But the other thing is, as you all know, I lost my husband in 2017. And although we knew before the importance of family and the importance of spending time together in January 2017, that became very evident in a very strong way. And we realized that, this world's temporary. And what we get to do with our families and the time that we get to spend and the experiences we get to have together is even more than the ability to buy them things or to spoil them with things. Now, my kids are spoiled. They have the things, but even more so, I want them to have memories. I want them to have memories of everything from playing cards with me to coming to Austin to see bats, right? This stuff is really important to me. And by not RVing, this is what I keep thinking to myself, I'm missing out on some of those amazing experiences. So, and we'll talk again at the end. Make sure that I ask you, how does someone begin? Because we definitely want to kind of jump into that, because there may be a lot of people listening that have thought about it. I think it's becoming more popular right now. I have a lot of my friends actually selling beautiful homes and saying, you know what, the kids are out, we're going to live in an RV and we're just going to travel and experience the United States in a very different way. So tell us a little bit about your kids and why why even the RVing facilitates some of the fun things that they're getting to do and experience.
So I love talking with you so much and hearing your heart, and you're such an amazing coach and mother and wife and woman. I just love everything about you, your passion and your spirit and how you just affect other people. And every day, as you guys probably have as well, almost, I get Facebook memories that pop up, or Google Photos will give me a collage. Every single day, there are RVing memories. And it almost blows me away. Like yesterday, 23 out of 23 pictures in a collage were RVing. And I'm thinking, do we do anything else? Like, do I have any other memories? Like, is this all I do? But it encapsulates so much more than that. I have taken my kids to the Grand Canyon by myself 6 times. They've been to Yellowstone 5 times. We go to the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, which if you've never done, you have to go. It's so cheap.
Wow.
It should be on everyone's bucket list. I've taken them 5 years in a row by myself. And for the first time ever, when we got back this time, my husband said, hey, do you think, he goes, I think I might want to come next year. And I said, are you ready? Are you really ready to do it? So the kids are like, what? Dad wants to come. And so, I've taken them to every single state, north, south, and west of Colorado, except for Oregon and Washington. And last summer, I was going to take them to Maine, because when I grew up, Maine was my favorite memory. That was my favorite camping memory, was growing up to Maine, and going to Maine, and we got to stay in a cabin, which was huge for us, because I told you we always stayed in a tent. And so we went twice, and I had everything scheduled. We were going to go to Acadia National Park and Bar Harbor and eat lobster. And my 18-year-old that's graduating this year said to me, Mom, you've always spent every summer traveling, going to all of Amanda's dance scholarships. And he said, I just won a film scholarship this year, because he won first place in digital photography at a college competition for high schoolers at Bob Jones University. And then he won first place for a film that he had done there as well. So they gave him almost $3,000 in scholarships, camp scholarships, to come back to the university over the summer. And he said, it would be really special for me if I got to do my scholarship. So I canceled everything to Maine. I had just booked it all, canceled it all, and said, I'll take you to Maine. We'll go someday, I promise you, because I love Maine. But I said, we're going to go chase your dream and go, do your scholarship. And so I thought, but I really want to go to the Outer Banks, and North Carolina is close to South Carolina, right? So I just booked it, because that's what I do. My 10-year-old is actually the one that plans all of our trips and maps everything out. He is amazing at it. I'm the one that just has the vision, don't know how to get there, just book it, and he'll fill in all the pieces for me. So I said, we're going to go to the Outer Banks first. Didn't even MapQuest that it's 10 hours away from South Carolina, but okay, whatever. So we went to the Outer Banks, and my husband said, you're going to the Outer Banks? I might want to do that. And we all look at him and we're like, you do? You never come camping with us. And he goes, yeah, but I think I might want to do that. He goes, but I'm not going to drive with you. He goes, you need to pick me up. I got to fly. I got to work. I can't take the time off, which is true. And so I said, okay, we'll pick you up at the airport. I'd already driven my RV to the airport in Montana, picked my daughter up when we went to Glacier National Park, and she was flying in from California from a dance event. So I'm like, I got this airport thing, but then I'm thinking, North Carolina is a lot different than Montana. So I told my husband, I said, I don't know where we're going to pick you up. You just keep your phone on. I'll find something nearby the airport. Either you can Uber, or we'll just figure it out. So I ended up picking him up from the airport. There was a hotel a mile away. And I said, just go check it out. Make sure I can fit in the hotel parking lot. This was literally the morning of. And so he's like, yeah, you can fit. There's a circle. So I went in, brought my RV. I think it was supposed to be like a bus circle or an Uber circle. I'm like, I'm here. Hurry out. And so he gets in the car, and we had 4 hours to go to the Outer Banks. And then I did the same thing on the return. I just dropped him off at this hotel, and that's how we did it. So after we spent a week in the Outer Banks, he went back, and I went down to go to Brandon's film festival. And the kids and I, the other boys and I, went to a different lake every single day in South Carolina. I have never seen so many lakes in all my life. We went paddleboarding. They're like, Mom, another lake? I'm like, they have a lot of lakes. What can I say? We saw waterfalls, and we just got to explore so many states. We went to Kentucky. If you've never been to Kentucky, Lexington, I was ready to move. The horses and the greenery and the fences and the food. Oh my gosh. I was like, sign me up. So that's my problem. I want to move everywhere we go. And I always tell my friends I'm moving. And then the ones that don't know me as well believe me. And they're like, wait, you're moving to Kentucky? I'm like, no, not for real. Not for real. So Brandon finishes his film festival. His film camp. He did so well that the professor of the entire film department said, I want Brandon to come down to a film festival. It's a Christian film festival put on by the Kendrick brothers, who did Fireproof, Courageous, War Room. And he said, only problem is it starts tomorrow in Georgia, another 5 hours. I'm like, no problem. I have the RV. I call my husband and I said, honey, we're not coming home yet. He hears that all the time. We're not coming home yet. We're going to go to Georgia for a week. And so that is the flexibility that the RV will provide you. You don't have to worry. I literally got my 10-year-old on the ball and I said, honey, I said, can you find us a campground near Albany, Georgia? I'm like, I thought Albany was in New York. I didn't know there was in Albany, Georgia. So he's MapQuesting in the front seat. He calls them. He takes my credit card. He makes the reservations. The rest of us are terrible at geography. Brandon and I are always like, can we go here? Can we go there? And Ken's like, no, it's the wrong direction. No, it's just stayed away. Brandon and I are the dreamers and Caden's the mapper and the planner. So we went. Brandon has pictures with the Kendrick brothers. They know him. We just went back. We ended up getting a county campground that we booked the day before, $15 a night. It had a zoo in the campground with crocodiles and camels. It was my favorite zoo I've ever been to. It was free with the campground. This is so crazy. 8 minutes from the church. I mean, you guys, the flexibility that this offers and the ability to just go on a whim. We went and saw Brandon every day, 8 minutes from the church. We were in this great campground and we just went back again 2 weeks ago to go to the same film festival because they were offering it again. And the Kendrick brothers knew Brandon. And he actually asked if he could work with them or internship with them. And they gave him some ideas of things he can do first. And oh, what a cool experience. And so, you know, we went through Kansas and went through all of these states on the way back. And so my goal is for Caden, my youngest, to have gone to all 50 states in an RV by the time we graduate.
I love it.
I
I love it. See, what's so interesting to me and the power of what it is that God's called you to do now is right after losing weight, I realized I really wanted to do something where I could make memories, obviously. But I went and y'all, I went and bought a timeshare.
You did?
I did, and never paid for it for years, put a lot of money in it, but never could figure out how to use it. And never used it, eventually got rid of it and sold it and did all the stuff. And so the power of what you're doing right now is not only are you sowing the dreams, helping us to realize what it is that we could do, but with your membership, we get help, right? We get that ability to find out exactly how to do this. So I mentioned to you, I think on one of our calls, I said, would it behoove me to at least try by renting one? I know they go and set it up and me just get a feel for that, because I will tell you my only experience with camping, and this is the reason why I'm probably such a diva about camping, is that my only experience with camping was the adults were in the RV. They put us in a tent. We were in Gulf Shores, Alabama, in the middle of the summer, love bug season. And all I remember is being pegged in the face on a double bicycle where I had a kid on there with me that was not pedaling. I was the only one pedaling, and being pegged in the face by love bugs and having to sleep in a damp, very humid, hot tent. And I thought, I will never go camping again. So I'm telling you, it's a big deal that Christine's anointing has made me want to go camping, even this diva. So if someone was just beginning to start, what would you say for them to do? Would you say jump in like you did and just go, or what do you think?
There's so many options now. And I love your story, because when we're on the road, we find so many glampers like you. My kids love to find the biggest RV out there and make friends. I kid you not. They'll find like the $300,000 Tiffin. That's one of the top brands. And they'll make friends. And within hour, we had a story where within 1 hour we were sitting in these people's glamping Tiffin. The kids are painting t-shirts for them because the adults were going to go to a Halloween party. We're drinking coffee. They set up a movie for the kids to watch, and we just met them an hour prior. One of my best friends, camping friends that we met, because I full-timed during COVID. When COVID hit, we had just sold our house in February, not knowing that COVID was coming to the US. 3 weeks later, the country shut down and we had no house. And so I said, I'm going to go take my RV and I'm going to make the best of this. I had no idea what was to come. And I said, we're going to full-time in the RV and we're going to make every memory and every outdoor experience, because, you know, that's what we had then. And when you ask my kids about COVID, that's what they will tell you. They will tell you the memories that we made and the places that we went. We went off-roading, Jeeps, Segway riding every day, every single day. So we'd cry in our pillows at night about everything that was lost and the people that were affected and, you know, the dance and that. And then every day we'd go off-roading, find mines. We found railroad tracks. We met friends that were at the campground because they shut the campground down. But those of us that were full-timing were allowed to stay. And one of those had a tiffin, and they full-time, just her and her husband. And we learned so much from them. And they would tell us what they were doing, and we'd go do the same thing. And the kids said, "Oh, Mom, we want to go tenting because they're going tenting." So I'm paying for one campground. I convinced this other campground to give me a really good deal because I told them I'm already paying for one. And we tented for 4 days on the banks of the Royal Gorge water, which
Wow.
we went to bed and just hearing this rushing water inches from our tent. The kids, it was like 5 steps down. I mean, it was just stuff that, our COVID experiences are all memories that we had camping, because we try to repress all the bad stuff too, but, but
Yes.
ours just wasn't, we just had this amazing experience. So if you are just starting out, couple things. One, you can be a glamper and you can be a camper that just wants to go on the weekends. You can full-time, you can go for a week or two, you can go for the whole summer. There's so much different opportunity. My first RV was similar to my sister's. Breakdown Betsy was $16,000. I paid $180 a month, and I paid $80 a month to store it. And so you really can get an RV in any budget, whatever your budget may be. You can also get, $100,000 RV motorhome, and you can get anywhere in between. And so the first thing that you need to figure out is what your budget is and what RV fits your lifestyle. So I always think of you because whenever I'm around all my fancy camping friends, like my friend that I was just mentioning to you, Melanie and John, they have everything. They have their special dishes that they pull out for Christmas. They have their Christmas tree. There's so much storage under there. And they said that they sold a 4,200 square foot home to go do this full-timing lifestyle. And I just talked to her for an hour the other day, and she said, people ask me if I want to go back. And she said, I don't understand why they would want to live in a house anymore. She said, I know I did it my whole life. She said, but why would I want to be tied down like that? She said, the stuff that I get to see and make these memories with my husband or my kids or herself, because her husband works a lot too. So sometimes he's on calls, and she says, I just go out and venture out and do what I want to do for the day. And, I do my spa days and all that. And she said, I don't know why anybody would want to be tied down. She said, it's been 5 years and I have no plans on going back. So there's so many extremes, but it can fit every budget and lifestyle. My current RV is a 35-foot travel trailer. So I do tow it, but you can tow with an SUV. You can tow with a truck, so some people, depending on what you have, you might have to upgrade to a bigger tow vehicle. You don't want to be at the Camel Safari, and I can help you with that because they'll tell you anything, to sell you a truck, but I know what to look for. And my current RV was $35,000. It's a 35-foot, and we pay a couple hundred a month.
Wow.
And I feel like we're able to make budget cuts for a couple hundred a month. I mean, we can find ways, because I don't know what my life would have been like, Francine, if we didn't RV. It's been 8 years now. And like I said, I think I took the kids on 60 trips. We went just last summer. We went from July through October. We came back in August because two of mine go to school. Brandon goes to a special school 2 days a week for kids that are interested in the fine arts. And then we travel the country doing film festivals with him in the RV. Sometimes we have to fly. I took him to Texas in the RV to a film festival in October, and we stayed at a nature conservatory, 500 acres of untouched land for free with our Harvest Host membership. And then we got there, and at the film festival, they had just opened up 4 RV spots because they're opening it up for the Chosen films there and some of these other really big series. And so they're opening it up for more people to be able to go. I was the first RVer it's in Texas. It's Content 2021, and I'm totally spacing. Brandon just walked by. I'm totally spacing the name of it. Capernaum Studios. Like, how am I forgetting that? In Weatherford, Texas.
Yes.
And I got to be the first RVer there. And I cannot tell you how many people came over and they're like, you do this by yourself? And I was like, Brandon and I, we had people hanging out in our trail. Every time I went in my RV, there were like 20 people, because people would go to their class and my RV was right there. And then they'd go network and they'd come get coffee from my RV. And like, I felt like it was my ministry, even though I was a little stressed that there was always 20 people in my RV, but I thought, what a blessing this is. And one of our friends that works for Disney came to me at the end, and she said, you've inspired me that I'm going to bring my RV next year. And she's coming from California, and she sat in my RV for an hour. And this is like, she was like our hero. We were like, she works for PureFlix and Disney and all these things. And she sat in our camper, had coffee with us, talked with us. And the best part about it was we got to know her. I got to know her.
That's one of the things that I think I love also when I talk to people who do this. And when I was actually selling my house last year, the guy who was doing a couple of the fixer-upper things before we put it on the market came in, and they had just sold their home, and he was like, you need to sell this, and you need to get an RV. And there's a lot really near us. And he started telling me about all the people who were close to him, and how there was another widow there, and all this
Mhm,
stuff. And listening to you and listening to him, realizing that there is a family, right?
mhm,
A community, even within that, there's a different feeling, right? How many of
mhm,
us live in homes and we don't even know the neighbor, maybe
mhm.
next door or
It's
two
so
doors
true.
down, right? Unless you're the one instigating it. So many times in our homes, we get so just kind of locked down in these walls. Yet I see part of camping is outside, even on that up
Mhm,
under the awnings and things like that. And my dad was military. So a
mhm.
lot of my years, I lived in Asia. My mom was Japanese, she was Okinawan.
Wow.
And so we would stay in the lawns. I mean, it just was part of the base community feel, especially when you live overseas. And so that's the other part that just like, oh wow, my
Mhm.
kids could experience not just staying in the four walls of a house, but actually getting to know, and I think it's biblical, getting to know your neighbor, right?
It is one of my favorite parts. We have so many, we call them camping friends. I can't do all this on my own, you guys. I don't have all the answers, but I've learned a lot over 8 years. I've learned so much. I've even driven my RV on 3 wheels. Didn't know you could do that, but you can actually drive your RV on 3 wheels. And the tow truck driver followed us and he said, yeah, you can go 45 miles an hour and get to your destination and we'll replace your tire on Monday. So that was our experience going to Albuquerque. You have to just, you can't let fear hold you back. These are
Yes.
not normal experiences, but I go so much, 60 days is a lot, or 60 trips. It was more than 60 days, is a lot more, but I've learned so much. But you know what? It's the community of RVers is why I love it. Why my kids have all the experiences that they do, why we have camping friends that we'll meet people cross country, like Melanie and John, the ones I told you that we met during COVID. She just invited me to go to Maine in August. And I was like, oh my goodness, I want to go to Maine in August. I'm going to see if I can make it work. We met them in Ouray, Colorado, and they took us off-road jeeping on an experience that my kids could never have gotten. Like, he's an experienced off-road jeeper. I have thought I was going to die. Like, they took the doors off the Jeep. We were hanging off cliffs. Like, when you look down below, there were Jeeps that were flipped over with like caution tape. Like, it is the scariest, craziest adventurous thing I've ever done. I could never give my kids that opportunity, but he was an expert Jeep driver and they gave us so many opportunities.
Wow.
When we went RVing this summer in Kentucky, we stayed at a Harvest Host, which is where I told you that you can get free camping with that membership. There was this lady that she said, we just met her an hour prior, but we were staying on her property. And she said, I work with the Amish. Do you want me to go take you to meet the Amish? And you can go see them at their farms. You can go to their market. And my kids are like, we're getting in the car with another stranger. I'm like, she's not a stranger. We met her an hour ago. And I'm like, she's leaving her husband behind. So, her husband wanted to come too, and there wasn't room in the car with all my kids. And she took us, she drove us through the Amish market. She waited while we shopped at the Amish market. One of the Amish husbands had said his wife had just delivered a baby the night before. I mean, like at home, the kids were all running around barefoot in their dresses, helping the other kids. I mean, this is all just from RVing. It is a community of people that I cannot describe. And the reason why I'm able to help others and constantly, I still don't know everything. I have friends that know more than me, but because I have those friends, I reach out to them. My Facebook post today was about a generator and going boondocking. And one of my friends that was the first to respond in the comment, she's the one that encouraged me to start going boondocking, which is more advanced camping. I don't recommend it for the beginners because you need to have solar or a generator and things just go wrong more often. But I do it all the time now because of her. And so she's my resource. I have a mobile RV repair guy that I went on a girl camping trip boondocking in September. We're all sitting around the campfire cooking over the fire. And he called me and he said, I just wanted to make sure you made it safe, because he knew about my tire incident where I had to drive with 3 tires. And when I got back to Colorado, he fixed it. And my friend said, is that your husband? I'm like, oh no, that's my mobile RV repair guy. They said, he calls you? Like, yeah, he always checks in on me, make sure I'm safe, see if I have any question.
Wow.
And
I love
so
it.
it truly is a community, within my community where I'm here to help serve others. And you can call me from the campground or call me from the comfort of your home, wherever you're at. But I have a network and resource of people that everywhere I go, I always say my friends tease me because I always say, I've had more men in this camper. And then I say, that sounds horrible. Like, that is not what I mean at all. So they tease me every time, but the men will say, do you need help with that leak? Is your air conditioner not working? Did you check this? So I've learned a lot. I know what to check for when your air conditioner doesn't turn on. I know, when you get winterized, where you might get a leak and what you can do, because it's often the men that will come in and say, let me help you out. And then the wives and I will sit around the campfire at night, So
I
it's
love
truly
it.
a community.
I love that. And, this brings up a good point that the community that you really feel led to serve is women campers. Because a lot of time it's us that think, and here I am in a position where, my husband lives in heaven. He can't help me camp. And so I kind of had written this whole thing off as, I guess this is just something that I'll never do. And as I listened to Christine, the more and more I realized I may be a grandma and a camper when these kids all decide to start having grandbabies. And I know me, I'm going to want to go to each of my kids, and what better way than to bring my house, right, with me. And if I could just make sure they all live in really amazing places,
Exactly.
separate them across the nation, that would be really good. But so your specialty is actually helping women, though, and even those with kids, right, at home, learning how to camp. And what a great resource. I'm going to tell you some of the things that I've gotten in the chat. So Shelby says, now I got to go get an RV. Stacy says, sounds like a wonderful life. And Violet says, you are living an amazing life. What you're doing is great. So anyway, it's all really resonating. So there are some ways to get in touch with you. And I know that we'll actually put the written inside the comments, but let's talk about some ways that, let's say that they already RV, but they want to know more, right? The deeper things, and to be able to collaborate and have community. Or you're brand new and you're like, I don't even know yet that I want to do this, but maybe joining your community might help me make a good decision. And I know you want to get them early, right? So they get the right things, and you can have that conversation with them about because there's tons of different RVs out there, tons of different ways that they ride and drive, and probably a lot of things that if you've never really RV'd, that you don't even know to think about. So to have RV Mama of 4 in your hip pocket, I know I wouldn't even be considering it if I didn't have you. So tell them how they can connect with you.
Yes. So if you can remember RV Mama, MAMA, and then OF, the number 4, you can pretty much find me anywhere. So that is my website, www.rvmamaof4.com. That's my email address, my Facebook group, my Instagram, everything, RV Mama of 4. And so like she said that she can put that in the description so you can see that. But I'm passionate about helping women at any stage and any age. In my community, we do weekly Q&As. We just had one last night, and I'm so excited. I got off the call and I couldn't sleep because it was so much fun. And we were talking about the exact topic that Francine just brought up of what are the different types of RVs and what fits you and your family and your budget. And even that is overwhelming to do on your own. So I help people shop. I can, if you're local, I can even help you go into the dealer. I help people know what the options are. There's outdoor kitchens, there's this, if you get a motorhome and you have kids, their bunks are generally in the hallway versus with a fifth wheel, they're going to have their own room. Just so many different things, but also for the advanced campers. So I have over 100 classes in my website. Not all of them are released yet. That's why I'm offering a special founding members rate, because I have them all there. You can see all the different chapters, and everything is bullet pointed and structured. So I know exactly what is there and what we're going to talk about behind the scenes, but I have so much content and videos that I'm attaching that it takes time. So as people join the membership and they tell me, this is what I want to do. I just had Tammy from Flip Lifestyle just join the membership about 5 minutes before the call. And she wants to do exactly what you're saying, Francine. She wants to go travel the country with her son, following her daughter who travels for her job, sell her house and go all in. So the full timing, I have lots of content for full timers and videos. So now that she's in the membership, I'm going to make sure that that's up and ready first. So as you join the membership, wherever you're at in that stage, that will be done first. But that's why I'm offering it for $19.99 a month for my special friends on your podcast and your friends, because I want them to be able to get in and learn and help. I can help create the course exactly where they're at in the journey. And I also have some really big news to share that I didn't know if I was going to share it because I haven't told anybody. So your listeners are the first ones to know. I'm super scared to share, actually, because I feel a little crazy, but we are actually going to start full-time RVing June 1st. I haven't told anyone yet. We're selling our house and we are going all in, and we are going to be living in an RV. So your people are the first to find out. I haven't even told my friends. My family knows, that's about it. But I just felt like you started the call off saying that maybe people might want to do that. You have that dream, and I have the same dream as you. I tell my kids all the time, it doesn't matter where you go to college, because I'm just going to follow you. And they're like, no, Mom, don't follow us. So my daughter goes, I'm going to Hawaii. I'm like, yes, I have friends in Hawaii, Jen Trinidad and Cindy. And so that's my dream. This year, I want to drive and take the kids to go see the Liberty Bell, to see the statue, to see the Statue of Liberty, to go to Washington, D.C., to go up to Maine, to go to Williamsburg homeschool days, which they always put in September, right after everybody started school. And so my husband, I literally have booked out where we're going to stay from June 1st to June 1st next year. And he said, oh, I think I'm going to stay with my mom this summer. And I said, you said you were all in. I only did this because you wanted to. And he goes, well, I think I'm going to wait until we buy our bigger RV in August. And I said, okay, well, I always take the kids all summer, every summer, to go by myself, cross country. So it's not, it's not that unusual. And so that's why I'm going to an RV show later today and scoping them out. And I just have this vision of, the kids' memories and legacy and experience are going to be that they can pass this on to their kids. And an example of that is my son, who's 18, that's graduating. He's going into film. He's got all these opportunities. He's already got a job as the main actor for 2 weeks in Colorado from the film festivals we've traveled to. And I said to him, Brandon, do you really want to be tied down to one state? You don't know if you're going to be in Dallas, Atlanta, where are you going to be? And I said, why don't you get an RV and you can just travel across the country wherever your Christian acting jobs are? And he said, yeah, I like that idea, Mom. He goes, all right, Mom, when are we going shopping for my RV? So I might be shopping for 2 RVs at once. Maybe we'll get a deal.
I love it. You're going to have a star on your door that says it. Brandon, is that what you said?
Yep.
Yeah. You'll have to have a star on your door so people will know that you have a superstar. You're getting invited to all the different states. They're all like, we have a KOA in Sanger, Texas, right near us. I want to meet you. And
nice.
I'm there to follow you on YouTube too. And they're all like, oh, I want to follow all of her, experiences and trips. And
yes,
so you'll be sharing there as well. I think people will love to see the world through your eyes as a full-time now.
Yes.
So how exciting is that?
Yeah. I'm super excited.
Do you think I'm going to ask a stupid question because I'm not aware of this, but do people ever just RV together? Like especially full-timers, do they ever travel together?
They do. And
sometimes I see several together when they're traveling on the interstate.
They do. One of my girl campers groups has taken a 15-day trip. They're calling it the Route 66 trip, and they camp together. They travel in a line, and then they get to where they're going together. There's a main host that books like where they're going to stop and what they're going to do. So there's lots of different groups. I'm actually planning a camping trip in Kansas with another one of my friends. She's based in Missouri, and she was the one that I said motivated me to start doing boondocking. She used to be a semi-truck driver, so she's super knowledgeable. Yes. And we're going to join our groups together, our members or whoever. You don't even have to be a member. Anybody that wants to come meet us and camp with us can join us. We're going to go to the Annie Oakley campground in Kansas because it's in between Colorado and Missouri. So we're still picking out a date, and we do classes and fondue parties, and she likes to live it up like you do. She sent me photos of her last one. But the thing is when you join and you go on these groups, you don't have to have an RV. You can rent an RV, you can have an RV, you can stay in a tent. Thinking. You can fly there and stay in a cabin.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
No, what an experience. What a way to experience it and begin to get your feet wet before you actually get done, is join one of these groups like yours,
Yeah.
and then join a trip together. I think I would really like that because I'm
Yeah.
an extrovert, so I need peeps. I
Yeah.
need, when I started my company, I'm like, I need peeps. I
Yeah.
need people with me on that. So much fun. You do have a free, is it a PDF? What do you have right now?
I do. And it's called The Ultimate Guide to RVing Solo. But I
Yeah.
really need to change the name of that, because what I'm passionate about is teaching women, whatever your family looks like, whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you have kids, whether you're an empty nester. It's really to empower and give women the hands-on skills and the confidence and the knowledge and the access to me that they need. Like, my husband is here, but he doesn't camp with us. He's
Mhm.
never driven my RV, my new RV. He did my old one, Breakdown Betsy, but he hasn't driven S'mores. S'mores is bigger. That's our new RV. And, you know, he told me, it was interesting because on YouTube, my little son was like, "Oh, mom, did you know that like half your audience is men?" I don't even know. You know, he's checking out the analytics, and I'm like, I'm just posting the content because I love it. And I said to my husband, "I wonder why." And he said, "Because I would join your group." And so even men are welcome to do it. He said, "I don't
Yes.
want to go." He's a lawyer, so he's not a guy's guy that knows about trucks and getting dirty and all that. He can do paperwork and contracts and all that. But that's, I want women to be able to get out there wherever they're at.
Mhm.
If your spouse wants to go with you, they can go with you. But you know what? That drive is going to be a lot easier if you know how to do it too. Because if
Wow.
he's driving 4 hours and then you have to stop, but you can drive 7 hours because you drove 4 and he drove 3 or whatever, it doesn't matter. Or if you want to, if your husband works a lot or your husband's in heaven and you want to do this on your own, you know, I have friends in every one of those situations, every one of them. People that are chasing their grandkids around the country, people that just want to explore themselves. And I know for you, Francine, your coaches are pouring so much of themselves, investing so much of their hearts, their lives. It's so taxing to be a coach because you care so much about everybody. And that's the thing that I love about you, that I want women to take the time for themselves, to take the time for their family, because you don't get a lot of that time. And, you know, it's different than when you're in a hotel. I was just in a hotel with Brandon. We weren't able to camp at the lot when we went to Kendrick Brothers the last time. And I missed it because I thought, I can't, we went to the zoo and we went and walked around the campground and did all these things. But when you're in an RV and you have your own stuff and you can cook on the road and you can make s'mores and meet people and follow them around the country, they have clubs there's one called the Escapees RV Club, and they help you get your mail. You know, they have meetups all over the country. And I went to a meetup in Quartzsite, Arizona, and everybody just welcomed you in. It just said escapees. There's like a pole in the dirt, and that was it. And we all just
Love
met,
that.
did the activities. So there's so much opportunity.
Oh my goodness. It's like a whole world that if you don't know, you don't know. But when you know, it's amazing. So I just posted your website, your ultimate guide to RVing, your Facebook group, and your YouTube,
Thank
so
you.
people can find you and connect with you. Are you, let's see, we were talking about keychains. Did you want to talk about those?
Yes. So for anybody that signs up for the ultimate guide, it's literally just your email. So, and you can always unsubscribe if you don't like it, but it's an ultimate guide to just how to get started. Some of the things that you talked about, do you rent or do you buy? And it's pretty, you know, it's pretty basic. If you join the membership, then you're going to get a lot more details, but it gives you the ideas of, how do I start? What are the different types of RVs? Is
Mhm.
safety an issue for women? Yes. So what can we do for that? And so that's what you get in the ultimate guide to RVing. And all you have to do is put in your email. So
Oh,
I'm going to do a drawing in 48 hours, 2 days. And for anybody that put in their email for the ultimate guide, I'm going to do a drawing, and I have the cutest little keychain that, what did it say again, Francine? I forgot. It said something about like, I love RVing. I'm having
yes,
a
it's
total
so
mind
cute
blank,
too.
but it's so cute. Just trust me. It's so cute. It has a little RV on it, and it says like, I love RVing. And then for anybody that joins the membership, I have it and another little keychain that's even fancier and very similar, but I use it for my RV keys, and it has a little RV on it, and I'm going to have a custom saying on it as well. And
Wow.
so if you join the membership within 48 hours, again, then I'm going to do a drawing and send that to you. But the membership right now is rock bottom cheap, y'all. It's $19.99, and I will help you. You'll have access to me with Vox or texting, Facebook Messenger, whatever you like, in between the weekly calls. Because I know a lot of times you think of all your questions in between the calls. We have weekly calls, and then being able to have access to all the courses and the video that's just growing. I
Yeah.
have it all mapped out, but it's just growing and growing. So
Wow. And so that's a monthly membership. Do you have anything quarterly or a year?
we do. And you can also get the discount if you do a 3 month, because we're headed into camping season. So say you want to get started now and you think like, in 3 months you can head off and do it. You can choose that option. It's all on the website. So if you go to rvmama4.com, you'll see the different options. There's also a
Awesome.
yearly option, and it's just monthly. So there's no, links attached. If you get what you need and you think you're done, then that's fine. But part of what we also have is community. And so I think a lot of times this is how it was with Flip Lifestyle. I know for Francine and I thought I was going to get in and get out and binge all the content I possibly could and listen to every class, and then I'd be done and out and save some money. And when I got in, I had no idea. Just like you said, you don't know what you don't know. The
Yeah.
community was so powerful. And these are the people I call my friends now. When something goes wrong, when I've had a bad day, when I can't figure out Instagram because I'm a Facebook girl, these are my friends that I call, that I trust, that I can't wait to go meet in person. And
I
so
love
you may just find that they're your people in your community as well.
Yes. And I love it. What if you're thinking about going somewhere and you're like, you can hop in there and say, hey, who's been here? What campground did you like? What campground did you not like? Right. Being able
I'm
to just
so
kind of
glad
jump
you.
in there. Yeah. And be able to, and then someone say, hey, I'm going to come meet you there. Right. Which
Mhm.
is
That's
super
what we're doing. We're going to
Yeah.
do campground meetups. That's part of my goal, is to go around the country and have campground meetups. That's why we're doing the first one in Kansas, because I want people just to come join, and they don't have to be in the membership. They can come and socialize and meet with us. And then another thing that I offer for my Colorado people is one-on-one driving lessons. I just had a driving lesson on Monday, you guys, and I was so proud. And as I start to travel the country, if I'm in your area and you want one, it generally takes between 4 to 6 hours. So a 2-hour session and then another 2-hour session. But
Excellent.
this woman that I just helped on Monday, I was so proud of her because she had a 35-foot RV, just like me, a big truck that was her husband's that she doesn't normally drive. And in 2 hours, I taught her how to back in and out of your storage unit, which is about as tight as it gets. And I said, you have to trust me. Like, it's so totally counterintuitive when you're pulling a trailer. Like, you have to aim at other trailers and then turn and do all these things that you were like, what? I have to do that. But she trusted me and she did it. And I felt like the proudest mama. And she just booked
Yes.
her second session because we're going to teach her gas stations and backing up. so,
Wow.
so that's another
That is
thing for
so
local
cool.
peeps, or if I'm in your area.
I love that. I love that. Well, I hope everybody had fun like I did. I hope you were inspired to RV, make memories, create legacy, and get those experiences. For me, it will be my grown children, and eventually one day when they find their God-given
Mhm.
spouses and their grandkids, I hope to have incredible times with them as well. I'll be the grandma. I don't know that I'll be cooking apple pie, but I will create some really fun experiences and in my RV, and Grand Canyon's one of my favorites. So I'm
Ah,
excited
you
to
have to
do.
go. Yeah,
So
if the listeners haven't gone, they have to go. Well,
yeah,
Francine, I love talking with you. You're an amazing woman. You're so inspiring. You coach all of us, whether we're in your membership or not. You're leaving such a testimony and legacy for women. And I know your husband is so proud of you in heaven every time he looks down at you,
yes,
just because the words that come out of your mouth. And definitely check out Francine's coaching opportunities. She's amazing at social media, and she's amazing at coaching, and just anything that you need as
thank
a
you.
mentor. I look at her as a Christian mama and a Christian mentor. When I have something I need to talk about, she's the first one that comes to my mind. So I hope you all check out her membership as well.
Thank you. Thank you. And you guys leave your information here. Let us know and tell Christine just how much she inspired you, like she inspired me. Okay. So, and if you are a replay right now, we want to know that you're there too. Leave your questions. We'll be watching. All right. All right.
Thank you.
Talk to you guys later.